Hi everyone, this is Dane Holding with Planning and Analysis. So one of the most common questions that we get throughout the projections process is, what does good projections feedback look like? So what this slideshow is intended to do is to give you a better sense of what constitutes good projections feedback. So there are two things that make for a good argument. The first is that you provide a narrative to support a change. Oftentimes, we do not have the full story behind enrollment changes at your school. If you can provide us a good story to better understand why things are the way they are, or why you think our projection is wrong, it will help us better evaluate and increase the likelihood that we will accept your feedback and change your projection. Second, good projections feedback uses data to support that narrative. We need to understand why our projections are wrong, both in the narrative sense, but we also need hard numbers to back it up so that we can confirm that this narrative is at least a plausible explanation for why your enrollment numbers have changed. So to start, we're going to review a couple of examples of feedback where we would consider changing projections, and there are three of them. So let's say in cases where our growth rates are incorrect. Now this is where, let's say, last year you lost way more students between second and third grade than you have historically. We want to understand why. Next, we want to look at cases where an SEI or early childhood inclusion or sub-separate program gets bigger within the year. Finally, in cases where you would like to cap your projection to lower your capacity. First up, cases where growth rates are incorrect. In some cases, we may project using a growth rate that may reflect an anomalous one-year trend at a school. So let's talk about that in concrete terms. The school may have been attempting to shrink down to a certain number of classrooms, or a nearby charter or private school is closing, resulted in a big influx of students. In both of these cases, we would see a very different growth rate at that particular grade than we would have historically. And if you feel like that's not going to repeat itself, it's important that we understand that when we forecast your school. We would not expect either of these patterns to repeat themselves. So we would consider adjusting the projection based on the feedback that you provide. So this is an example of a good piece of feedback that would lead to a change potentially. Last year, we lost 25% of our students between second and third grade. This was because we were managing down our bubble class to 2 classes of 25. Therefore, we think the one-year rate should not have been applied and that only 10% will leave, as in prior years. So that is one example. Let's say we're applying a growth rate that does not seem like it would quite fit because of things that happened last year. The next possibility is what we call the high water mark. There are a couple of programs that we want to make sure that we fund to the absolute largest the program becomes within the school year. Those two programs are SEI programs and early childhood inclusion separate programs. They tend to grow between October and June. If this happens at your school, we want to make sure that your projections account for that growth. It's important that in these programs, we project you according to the largest that these programs will be in your school. So a good example of a piece of feedback for this is this program sees growth throughout the year. Last year, we gained 10 new students from October to June. Therefore, we are requesting 10 additional students for a total of 18. Our final concrete example is in cases where you would like to cap your projection to lower your capacity. In some cases, it may be beneficial from a budgetary perspective to roll your projection down to avoid paying for an additional classroom. Or let's say you have a third grade gen ed class that is forecast to be 30. You would have to fund an additional classroom for the extra 5 students for that class, so it makes more sense from a budgetary standpoint to try and roll it down to 25. And this is just a way to articulate that our projection of 30 would require us to open an additional classroom for 5 students. Could you roll it down to 25 so we only need to run one class? It is important to note that in some cases, rolling down may not be feasible based on the number of kids we expect to return. In cases like that, we will work with you directly to help you troubleshoot that situation. There are other potential good data-driven arguments that support a good narrative. Good examples of feedback are not strictly limited to those 3 examples. So let's give a couple of examples of where we wouldn't consider changing projections. So first and foremost, in cases where additional context is not given. 2, requests to increase your budget. If you're asking for more students simply to increase your budget, we do not honor that. And finally, in cases where your school is anticipating additional enrollment based on a policy change or outreach project. So let's look at each one of these individually. So the first example is in cases where additional context is not given. We need supporting data and a story to properly evaluate the validity of a request. We obviously can't do that in very simple requests. So here are a couple of examples of that kind of feedback. My school is a tier 1 school. My school should be full. Technically, yes, this does contain data and a narrative. However, it doesn't really address why our growth rates are wrong or why our projection is actually wrong. In many cases, there are open seats in tier 1 schools in a number of places. And there are some tier 4 schools that are full in a number of places. So it's difficult to really evaluate this just from the information that's given here. Our capacity is 22, but you've only forecast us for 20. Again, even if your capacity is 22, you can be only forecast for 20 students. Otherwise, we need to understand why the 20 is wrong. This doesn't explain it, it just tells us the capacity. It's a piece of data, but no real narrative, right? And finally, please fill up my school. There's just no information here at all other than a request to fill up your school. It's difficult to honor something like this. So number 2 are requests to increase your budget. So one of the core goals of our team is to strive for accurate projections based on available historical data. Adding additional students to provide additional funding would not reflect our goal of accuracy. We give out projections when we feel that our narrative is incorrect and your narrative is. So ultimately, if you have issues making your budget work, you need to reach out to your budget analyst for help. Finally, in cases where the school is anticipating additional enrollment based on a policy change or outreach project, we want you to understand that we support you in your efforts to grow your enrollment, but we have to rely on existing data to forecast your school. One of the core philosophies of our team is that the money follows the students. In cases where you anticipate an enrollment bump from a policy change or outreach project, we will not provide additional projections until we have hard data that suggests the policies resulted in a change or an increase. If you do receive additional students the following year, you will receive some of that budget back through the reconciliation process, and you will receive an increase in projections the following year. So that's all we have for projections feedback. As always, you can reach out to projections@bostonpublicschools.org. You need additional support filling out feedback or clarification on anything that was reviewed in this video. We're always there to help. And as always, thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Take care.